Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the dev announcements that have happened over the past couple of weeks. We've announced some pretty significant changes with the raid, release cadences, a bunch of different improvements to the game, and this has all been in response to a couple of different things. There was some issues with some developers acting kind of immature on the forums. We have a new game in Marvel Strike Force coming out, and we're just going to talk about what's coming with these announcements, what I think about them, and also what I think is kind of forcing them to do these changes. So let's go ahead and get into the announcements of what's coming and what's changing, and then we can go from there. So if you guys don't know what's going on, basically someone made a forum post saying that, Sith right now, there's issues with broken characters and bugs and everything, and the player basically advised people to not invest in the Sith characters, and one of the developers basically went off and just tore him a new one and really acted in an unprofessional manner would be the nicest way to say it, and it caused a lot of backlash in the player community. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to out anybody on the forum post here, but basically a lot of players came to the defense of the guy who was attacked by the developer, and it caused a lot of negative feedback. There was a lot of complaints. Reddit was on fire, more so than usual. So there was a lot of anger that came bubbling to the surface for a lot of players because it's been something that we felt has been ignored by the developers for a long time, is some of the complaints from the players. I mean, I brought up in my State of the Game video, and to be fair to this forum post, the developer didn't trash the video like my video was trashed by some of the developers. So, it's all coming together where, players are finally just kind of having enough of some of the stuff going on with CG, and it basically caused a minor revolt. And so as a result, the developers came together, they basically did a Q&A session, and then they've gone and laid out a bunch of improvements coming to the game. Now, to be fair to the developer who caused this problem in the first place, he is not a community manager. They are short on a community manager right now. Koza Spoon has left to go somewhere else. I don't know where. Before you ask me, I don't know where she is now. But they are without a community manager at the time. So you're having other developers having to do that. And community manager is a very demanding job. You have to basically be very good with interacting with other people. And that's a very hard skill to have, especially when you're dealing with forums where people get really upset. So to be fair to the developer, it's not something that's easy to do, and I understand that. It's something that takes skill and patience to learn. So I will side with him on that. However, the manner in which the attack happened was really over the top and should never happen in the first place. But moving on from that, so they've done the Q&A session where, a lot of people came on there, they asked a bunch of questions. It's basically like an AMA on Reddit, where the developers are basically live answering questions on the forums, and it was great. They answered a lot of questions, they gave a lot of plans, so there's a lot of questions there. There's a link to that whole section down below. There's way too many questions there for me to answer on my own. But beyond that, they then laid out a bunch of new improvements coming to the game. So let's go ahead and start breaking down those. Now, the first thing they brought up is that they are changing the daily login rewards, and they are going to kind of motivate people to log in. So they're going to get rid of some of the things like ally points, low credits, and the 2-star train joints, because that's not something a lot of players, really pretty much anybody, finds useful. So they're taking those out. They're adding in Zetas now. So you will get, in a month that has less than 31 days, you will get 1 Zeta. If they have a month that's 31 days, you will get 2 Zetas. So now we are going to start getting Zetas every month, which is awesome. That is fantastic. I love that. We always need more Zetas. So they're doing that. And the second Zeta, of course, is obviously only going to appear on the 31st day in a month. So they're doing this to help familiarize new players to it, because now a new player is not going to get to level 85 and then suddenly get hit with all these Zeta abilities and suddenly not have any Zeta materials. This is going to help introduce them so they can start gathering them at an early stage and start building up those. So maybe by the time they get to 85, they have enough Zeta materials to actually get a Zeta ability on a character. Now, with that, they've also noted that the login character is not always going to be valuable to endgame players. They're going to be newer characters in there that are going to be helpful for new game players, like with Stormtrooper Han this past month. We have Greedo for April. Maybe we're getting some kind of bounty hunter thing. Rumor is Jango Fett. We'll see. So all of this is going to basically revamp the daily login. So now we're going to get more rewards from this. The next update came from them where they were basically laying out their communication. They know that communication is hard to do right now. They're trying to spread it out. So they're working on that to get more communication out to players, because that's always been a thing that players have criticized, is that, there's not a lot of communication from the devs. So they're working on that. They did an in-game feedback survey recently where, they asked a bunch of questions. And one of the funny things is that I noticed, and a bunch of other people noticed, is when you ask you if you watch YouTube, and then they ask you to list off the people that you watch on YouTube, a certain guy was not on the list for YouTubers to watch. But moving on from that, so we have the in-game survey. They are going to be doing more promotions for the Game Changers. Arnold has an interview coming out with some of the developers, and they are going to be improving the beta program, because this has been a problem with the Sith raid, where there's been some issues with the raid that should have been caught back in the beta, but because the beta was so small and so condensed, it was hard for them to figure things out and test things and actually get feedback from players. So they are going to work on expanding that and get all of that improved. Now with that, this is where things start to get kind of iffy. They start talking about the legendary and hero journey events, and basically the panic farm that everybody hates, that's not going away anytime soon. But also, they are considered new the first or second time. So what they want to do is they only want to give 1 week of advance notice for the event. And this is where things kind of get off kilter. This is where I don't think they're really listening to the players so much as they just want to say, this is what we think. But what the players see and what the developers see are completely different here. They think that they want to keep the surprise for players. However, it's not a pleasant surprise for players when we find out a week before these events come down, because all of a sudden we're having to suddenly rush. Maybe we're not going to get the character up to 7 stars in time for that Heroes event. Now we have to start dropping money. We would like a little bit more notice. I get why they're doing it, because it's a great way to make money for them. However, to say that it's a pleasant surprise to players is really not even close to what's going on with the players. So there's a little bit out of touch here, more of them just trying to promote and market the legendary and mythic events and the hero's journey. So we are not going to get rid of the panic farms anytime soon, and really we shouldn't be surprised that that's not going away. That was going to stay for a very long time. Really there was no reason for them to get rid of the panic farms with those. So with the hero's journey, they will also give a 1 week notice the first 2 times as events show up, just like we had with Jedi Training Rey, who came back a little earlier than anticipated, which I think is why a lot of people weren't happy with the Jedi Training Rey event, because she came back a few months at least before we all thought she was going to be coming back, because it's usually 6 months between Hero's Journey, and she came back pretty quickly. So that was a nice shock to pretty much the entire player base. And they will not be posting these events on the calendar months, obviously, because that would give it away. So always keep in mind that the calendars for the events for that month are never going to have the new legendary or hero's journey events that are going to be there. You will have to then see the announcements or see the event show up in game before you can find out that it's actually going to be there. So that is the marquee, the event release, and the release cadence, all that stuff. Kind of a downer to the end of the week. However, they came back on Monday with something better, where they talked about the Sith raid rewards. And this is not just with the Sith raid. There's been a lot of complaints with the raid rewards for a very long time, where we get a lot of useless gear out of it. We get a lot of challenge gear that we have thousands upon thousands of. Like the Mark IV Carbantes, I have 300 or 400 salvage of them, and if I go to swgh.gg, I have no characters that can use them. But basically what they're going to do is they are going to be revamping the rewards for the Sith raid. You are going to get better gear starting at tier 4 and all the way up to tier 7 heroic. You're going to get these mystery boxes now that are going to be focused on the more difficult to obtain gear, like your Mark III Carbantes, your gold gear probably. Don't really know what's in the mystery box yet, but all this gear is going to be stuff that we don't have a lot of right now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, a lot of Mark III Carbantes drop in there, because we need thousands of those things to gear up everybody. And these mystery boxes at tier 4 and above have removed all challenge gear and other gear likely to be stockpiled by experienced players. So, maybe we're not going to see Carbantes, but one can hope and still hoping. Now, they are going to be flattening the gear drops so that a player who ranks at 50 versus a player who ranks at 1, they're not going to have a huge diversity in gear. This is kind of, I like where the top 10 players can get some pretty nice gear. However, I have seen where players in the 30 to 40 rank get absolutely garbage rewards for the Sith raid. And this sucks because the Sith raid is hard, and a lot of people trying to gear up the characters and try to get to heroic, and getting crappy gear at rank 30 and below really does not help you gear up. You are going to then get an increase on the guild event tokens and currency and everything else. All those currencies that you get from the rewards is going to be increased exponentially. So your rank 1 players are going to get a lot of bonus currency versus your rank 50 players. So they're flattening the gear, but they're increasing the currency drops. So you're going to be able to still get more gear at rank 1 because you're going to get more currency at that point. Now, with that, they have, like I said, they have steepened the curve. They're making it more viable for your top ranked players to get more gear. And they're also going to really increase the rewards for raid tiers 5 and 6 because those are the players who are working their way towards heroic, and without a lot of currency and a lot of gear, they really can't start focusing on tier 7. So this means that your tier 5 and tier 6 players are going to get more gear in the long run and be able to help push for that heroic progression. Now, there were some questions here that they did at the end. Are these rewards going to be more meaningful? They've basically said yes, they've scaled up the quantity and quality of the rewards. So we're going to get more, we're going to get better. Hopefully they think that we're going to be happy with the mystery boxes. We don't know. I think it's going to be cool because I'm just going to be glad to get gear that's not challenge mode gear. So I should be happy with it. A lot of other people should hopefully be happy with it, but we won't know until the mystery boxes are revealed. And then the other question, why haven't you removed all challenge gear from all tiers? Because really, a lot of that challenge gear is still needed, like the Mark III Carbantes. Everybody needs at least one Carbante at some point while getting up to gear 12. Everybody needs them. We can't get enough of them right now. We maybe get one Carbante from challenges each week. It's just not enough. So keeping stuff like the Carbantes in there is going to help us to gear up quicker. So those are the changes coming to the game. Let's talk about why these changes are coming, because I think there's a couple of different factors that are coming in to why these changes are coming. So, a lot of people think that, these changes are happening because of the big mess that happened on the forums. A player gets attacked by a developer. That's never a good look. Developers usually have to do something to, make up for that. And, improved communication, these new rewards, that's great. However, there's no way that the mess on the forums is what caused this. I'm 99% sure that the reason why this is happening is because of Marvel Strike Force. And this is because Marvel Strike Force is an incredibly good game. It's just like Galaxy Heroes. It actually runs a whole lot better for me than Galaxy Heroes ever has run. I don't get massive lag spikes playing Marvel Strike Force like I do with Galaxy Heroes. So Marvel Strike Force, it's another big licensed game. It's Marvel Heroes versus Star Wars. It runs a whole lot better. It's better animated. It's better programmed, pretty much. It has the potential to be a way better game than Galaxy Heroes has ever been. So I think the developers are feeling threatened by this. They're giving out these new rewards. They're trying to keep players around because they know that people can go to Marvel Strike Force, start playing that game, and never come back to Galaxy Heroes. So CG is basically being forced to play nice with the players. They're finally giving us things that we have been asking for since forever. The non-challenge gear and raids has been around pretty much since raids came out. So this is all stuff we've been clamoring for years, and now we're finally getting it. And it's not because of some mess up on the forums where a developer attacked a player. This is because they now have direct competition. They're being forced to play nice with the players. So it's not the communication issues. It's because now there's competition to Galaxy Heroes, and now CG is being forced to make Galaxy Heroes better instead of just saying, oh, well, here's our game. We can do whatever we want because no one else is competing with us. Now we have Marvel Strike Force, and now we have a game that legitimately can threaten Galaxy Heroes and pull a lot of players away. So that is why I think that we are getting all this new stuff, all these new rewards, this new communication. I'm pretty sure it's all because of Marvel Strike Force. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of opinions on what's going on here with all these new updates. If you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And to all of my McMinions out there, thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.